Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, the importance of education when it comes to protecting the rights of others. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, certainly if there's a theme for 2021, it's the rule of law, protecting the rights of others. It's all over the news right now. As a country, we know we need education in order to assure that. To talk about that today, T.L. Cubbage, he's the new president of the Center for American and International Law. Thanks for coming on the show.
Jeff, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so people say the rule of law, and it doesn't mean anything to anybody. What does it mean to you?
The rule of law is fundamentally the principle that no one is above the law and that everyone is entitled under the law to be treated with dignity and respect, and that everyone, no matter how high an office they might hold, is accountable under the law.
And the roots of this institution really was born in a trial, is that right?
That's true. The center was founded by a Dallas lawyer named Robert Story. Shortly after he came home from Europe after World War II, he had just served as a prosecutor at Nuremberg trying Nazi war criminals, but he saw something that troubled him. Our allies then, the Soviets, and their leader Stalin, had the view that we should just take all the Nazis, stand them up against a wall and shoot them. But Story and other American leaders said they may need punishment, but we have to show the example of the rule of law by having trials, by holding them accountable with evidence. And actually, history's benefited from the record they showed, and they held those criminals accountable, but in a way that respected the rule of law.
Absolutely. There's a great overview video. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
Some of the words I might use to describe CALE would be collaborative,
organized, cutting edge,
innovative,
commitment,
dedication, self-reflection, world-class continuing legal education and law enforcement education.
CALE was the vision of Dean Story. Dean Story, who had been at SMU and then gone to war in World War II, was involved in Nuremberg trials and came back from Nuremberg with the feeling that American lawyers really didn't know much about international law. And if we were going to keep a Nuremberg from happening again, we needed to promote education and justice and knowledge of lawyers from the United States and around the world.
Just in the institute with which I've been involved, we've had conferences, webinars, networking events, and even sponsored writing competitions.
CALE offers a community. So whether it's with law enforcement or energy, you get a sense that people come back again and again because they build up these relationships.
CALE is one of the most important institutions in our country in training law enforcement, in training oil and gas lawyers, in training arbitrators and lawyers throughout the world. It's essential, it's innovative, and I'm very proud of my association with CALE. In a sense, CALE serves everyone because it affects every aspect of our society in ways that may be intangible. The most immediate effect, of course, is on lawyers and law enforcement, but it's something that affects the lives of us all and makes the world a better place.
CALE's provided a way for me to make sure that the quality of the continuing legal education that's made available to the members of my organization is high, is relevant, and is important.
I believe is the conscience of our society. We have to have a society that follows the rule of law. We also have to have professionals that are able to administer it properly, ethically, and within the law.
People have a lot of choices about how to invest their time, their money, but one sure investment, and one that has a real impact on the world, is investing in kale.
By investing in kale, you're really investing in your own community, in your own business, in your own personal development.
What makes kale unique is the fact that it brings the criminal justice community of professionals together. It's not just a law enforcement institute, it's not just training for lawyers and judges, but it brings them all under the same umbrella. So we're learning together to understand the complete process of the criminal justice system and not just from our specific area of interest.
It's people who give countless hours to make their professions better, to make those who are in their profession better. It's just such a rewarding feeling to see that we, and even me, can make a difference in how the world works.
You know what impresses me the most is you guys do so much. It really boggles the mind.
Well, in order to protect the rule of law, we're devoting ourselves to educating those who protect the rights of others. And that is a wide range from law enforcement leaders to lawyers doing energy law, human rights lawyers internationally, criminal defense lawyers domestically.
And in terms of education events, you've got something going on pretty much all the time. We're going to go ahead and put up your events page. And as you look at this, TL, look at some of those names of those events. It's impressive.
It is, and it's a range of things, some online, some in person, a lecture on human rights with a leading Nigerian lawyer, and a school of police supervision to ensure that the rising generation of sergeants are learning about the professionalism, the leadership, and the ethics to help them be effective guardians of the communities they serve.
Absolutely. And when it comes to human rights, I mean, I mentioned off the top of the show that, this is the theme for the year. Certainly, there has to be a great need for this. You have clients and customers that come in from all over North America, don't they?
We do. We draw in lawyers. We draw in law enforcement professionals from cities and states around the country, and we try to help them to be the best professionals they can be.
Outstanding. Well, I have to tell the audience something about TL. He is something of a Jeopardy question. I won't do my Alex Trebek impersonation, but you've been on Jeopardy how many times?
I've been on Jeopardy 13 different times over 25 years because I've had the privilege to be in a number of all-star tournaments over that period of time.
Okay, and I want you to share with the audience your favorite Alex Trebek story.
My favorite Alex Trebek story really shows something about the humanity of the guy. I was 22 years old. I was in Los Angeles by myself. No friends or family made the trip with me. And on the final clue of the final show, I won $100,000 and was just overwhelmed. And Alex could tell I was probably at risk of fainting. And he walked over and held me up. And I think I'm the only contestant who may have been hugged on air by Alex Trebek.
And you've gone up against some of the greats, haven't you?
I've been, as recently as 2014, got to go to the Battle of the Decades tournament and played against Brad Rutter. I played against Ken Jennings, wow, who just won the Greatest of All Time tournament. Yes. I've had the privilege of playing with the best of the best.
And are you officially retired?
I think I'm going to go out on a high note, having played at that level.
TL, you've been an amazing guest. Thank you for coming on the show. We're going to end by putting up the website. It's cailaw.org. TL Cubbage, thanks for coming on the show.
Jeff, it's been my pleasure.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.